Hello, and welcome to Connecting Tucson with Jaime Overturf, broadcasting from the Tucson Business Channel, a division of Mark Bishop Media, situated in the Stewart Title corporate offices on Broadway in Tucson, Arizona. Connecting Tucson is all about connecting our community, local businesses, and organizations to help our community grow and thrive. Today, we're talking to Danny Lochhead, the account manager for Roadrunner Auto Glass and Window Tint. Danny is a native Tucsonian where he graduated from the University of Arizona with a degree in political science. He's involved with the Foothills Club of Tucson, a local philanthropy group that focuses its efforts on raising money for children's charities across southern Arizona. And recently, he rode in the Tour De Tucson for the Courtney's Courage Foundation, which raises money to fund pediatric cancer research and help families who have cancer diagnoses. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my goodness. So we're just going to, just jump right in there. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how your career and your career path took you to Roadrunner Auto Glass and Window Tint.
Yeah, so I'm Danny Lochhead. I just graduated from the University of Arizona. The owners of Roadrunner Auto Glass, Ed and April, co-owners, we have a business partner named Rob Bodenheimer.
Okay.
They're my parents and the co-owners of Roadrunner. So I got started in the business pretty early. Actually, in college, I was handed some agencies to start going to and selling to and talking to. So I started small, and then after graduating, got a few job offers and opportunities over the summer, but decided to ultimately stay with Roadrunner and stay in the family business. So now I'm working full time, and I have a whole series of accounts that I go to and people that I meet. So
interesting. So political science to Roadrunner Auto Glass and Window Tint. That seems like it could. We tie some of that in from your political science to what you do here?
Yeah, well, I loved political science because you learn a lot about the human condition and people and talking to people. And as an account manager, I go from mainly insurance agencies to insurance agencies. I talk to fleets, and I just need to establish connections with people. And I really enjoy doing that, conversation and really talking to people and getting to know them and their business and stuff like that.
All right. So family business, I love those. Recently, you just did the Tour De Tucson, which I had mentioned, for Courtney's Courage Foundation. Why that specific charity?
Well, I myself am a pediatric cancer survivor, and Courtney's Courage helped my family and I, get through some really tough times back in the day. And it's just a really, really great organization that does a lot of good for people. So my dad, Ed Lochhead, he raised a lot of money for the tour and asked if I wanted to do it with him. And we ended up riding the 57-mile race, and I did a little talk at the beginning of it, talking about my story and stuff. It was just like a really cool kind of whole ordeal that we did, and we rode for the charity and raised a lot of money for that. It was really cool.
So you did the whole 57-mile one. How long did it take you to do that?
I think 3.5 hours.
Well, that's not bad.
Not too bad. I mean, I was behind my dad the whole time. He was drafting me in the whole time.
Oh gosh.
But it was tough. It was a great accomplishment, though. I'd never done anything like that before. So,
have you ever done any of those types of races?
No.
None?
No, I really just started riding like 2 months ago. So, yeah, he asked me if I was interested in it, and I didn't have a bike. I was like, yeah, sure. So I went and bought a bike that like next week or something, and started training for it.
Oh my goodness. And to do 57 miles, that whole loop in less than 4 hours, that's amazing. And Courtney's Courage Foundation, I do know a lot about them. I work with them. They are an amazing foundation, and they help so many children and just families in general, like through some of their darkest hours. They're there to not only listen, but like for monetary, but they listen, they provide therapeutics, counseling. It's just phenomenal. So.
Yeah, they understand how bad and how dark and scary the process can be. So they're really there for you every step of the way.
Yes, they are. It's an amazing, amazing foundation. All right. So tell us a little bit about Roadrunner Auto Glass and Window Tint.
Yeah. So Roadrunner is a auto glass and window tint company. We service southern Arizona and the greater Phoenix area. We specialize in repairing and in installing all forms of auto glass, as well as commercial and residential window tint. It was co-founded in 2005. Currently, we're a mobile company. We come to you. Okay. Our technicians arrive ready to do their work on site, and we install and repair all pieces of auto glass for cars, trucks, and SUVs, as well as windshields for motorhomes.
Interesting. So do you only specialize in auto glass, or do you do other types of glass right now?
As far as glass goes, we specialize in auto glass, but window tint, we do commercial and residential.
Oh, so all of the window tinting you can actually do like brick and mortar stores, to help keep the sun out, because that is very important in the summer.
Yes, especially here. But all sorts of window tint. I mean, we can do a whole nother podcast strictly talking about window
on that
tint.
one.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
So you kind of hinted on a little bit about what you did as an account manager, briefly. But as an account manager, what are your duties? What do you do? How do you help the company? I just rapid fired like 18 questions at you, but go right ahead.
So as an account manager, being the mom and pop local small business, it's all about establishing and maintaining relationships with individuals, across Tucson. I go to a lot of insurance agencies for the direct insurance referral base of business, as well as, like I previously mentioned, finding companies that have fleets of vehicles and really stuff like that. But being younger and just joining the industry, I'm also sort of a sponge for all sorts of other things. So office work, two-man sets for windshields that are bigger than one technician can handle. So I really do a lot of things for the business, but maintaining relationships and establishing relationships is
how many that's a great way to put it. How many agencies or places do you think you see in a week?
In 1 week, anywhere from 20 to 30. Once a month, I'll see about 40 or 50 offices.
Wow.
Closer to 40.
You're driving quite a bit.
Yeah. That's why I listen to podcasts.
Yeah, no. So you said you service southern Phoenix and Tucson area. What is your geographic area? How far do you go in Arizona?
So the whole Tucson area, southern Arizona, Tucson, down south, Green Valley, Sahuarita, that whole area, and then the greater Phoenix area. So just the greater Phoenix area.
Okay. Do you ever go as far as like Nogales? Why? Like, what do you have?
We will go as far as Nogales, but the comfortable area is about Green Valley.
Okay.
And not so much Casa Grande, but that greater Phoenix area, the city, the towns, Tempe, Glendale, all that.
Okay. And you had mentioned you are one of the very few companies, and this is part of the reason that my agency actually uses and refers you specifically, is that you do mobile homes and motorhomes in the glass. Not many companies do that. I didn't realize that. So why did you get into that niche?
Motorhomes provide great business.
Okay.
They have big glass and they require a lot of labor to install, and it's something worthwhile for our business to really pursue because they're really good business opportunities for us.
Okay. So what are some of the products and services that you actually offer? So like, is it just a window replacement? Do you do fills and cracks?
Yeah.
Can you walk me through all of that?
Yeah. Yes, we do full window replacements of any window in your average car, SUV, or truck. Like I said, with motorhomes, we focus mainly on the windshields because there's liability concerns with the side windows and emergency exits and stuff that we don't tamper with too much. But as well as tint strips for auto glass, we'll tint any car glass before it's installed. But chip repairs, fills, cracks, full replacements, all of that.
Okay, and you mentioned that you're a fully mobile service, so you don't have a brick and mortar.
No, we do not have a brick and mortar. We are 100% mobile. We come to you at the customer's convenience. Excellent.
And so I know that there's a lot of, sometimes there's I'm sorry, I'm trying to rephrase what I'm doing. When it's mobile, it's kind of hard to calibrate when you have the new windshield. So how do you account for that when it comes to the window glass?
Right. So calibrations are a pretty new thing that we're seeing in the industry right now with all of the self-automated cars and stuff that are coming on the road right now.
Scary.
But as far as calibrations go, domestic makes and models that require what's called a dynamic calibration, we can do that in the field.
Nice.
Yeah, it just requires doing a little bit of work and driving at a certain distance, and then that's that. But foreign cars that require what's called a static calibration requires equipment and a brick and mortar. So we facilitate taking that car to the dealership, so that there's no out-of-pocket charge for the customer. It's still all part of the claim.
But
we are looking for a brick and mortar, hopefully by the first of the year, where we will then get the equipment so we can start fully servicing and calibrating foreign all sorts of cars.
All sorts of cars. That's great. So something new, exciting, hopefully on the first. That'll be great.
Yes.
So you actually, for your client, will help them get all of that set up if it needs to, if they have to go to a brick and mortar. They don't have to worry about, okay, I'm now driving with an uncalibrated car. Exactly.
And it's explicitly said, it'll be said by the claim and by us that this car needs to be calibrated. And we will facilitate taking that car to a brick and mortar to where it should be calibrated. Yes.
Impressive. I honestly didn't realize that you worked on as much as you did until I actually was going into like your website and searching it all.
Yeah. Being mobile, we do a lot.
I know. I didn't realize that. So I learned something new. I know we always recommend you for the mobile and manufactured, like not mobile manufactured, but mobile and motor homes, because you guys are one of two people that actually do it here in Tucson, Arizona. Yes. So it's like, and you do it well. Haven't had any complaints.
We do our best. Yeah. I mean, have to stay in business for 17 years. It's all about the quality of the service that we deliver. So.
Exactly. And I know you said you're all mobile and you have certain techs that go out there. I'm assuming that these techs are very experienced. They're kept up on training. Tell us a little bit about your techs, the training, how much experience that the owners and the technicians and the marketing team has just in general.
Yeah, we have over 30 years of experience combined in auto glass installation as well as actually kind of the auto insurance industry. Ed Lochhead worked in claims for State Farm for a number of years. So we're pretty experienced just with the culture of it all and understanding how that works. Rob Bodenheimer, our other co-owner, is the technician of all technicians. He is super, super experienced in that and is really great. And we just had 2 new hire-ons who are just amazing workers as well. Very skilled. Great skill.
Do you have, not you, but do the techs have any training for when it comes to windshields? How to, do they have to keep up on any specialized training in order to install certain windshields certain ways or calibrations or anything like that?
As far as training goes, it's not official training that must be done, but we have technicians that have come our way from other companies that have been trained there. Rob is a big trainer. He will do ride-alongs with them and really make sure that they got the ropes and they understand everything before it's go time.
So when it comes to installing, let's say, tint, how would they determine what type of tint is best for either the brick and mortar store or the windshield? Is that something that they suggest to the client, or does the client usually come knowing what that is?
So it's all, go and get a quote and find what the customer's looking for. Like I said, there are so many different types of tint that don't just have to do with UV protection, Right. So you have your standard UV protection, UV film that protects from the sun. It can protect from UV rays that can cause like skin cancer and stuff, as well as infrared rays that make your car hot. But there's also all sorts of stuff like security film, decorative film, antimicrobial film.
Security film?
Yeah, security film is really, really cool. So it's this clear tint film that goes on the inside of your building, and it greatly deters any sort of break and entering situation where the glass, it will not keep the glass from breaking, but it keeps the glass from shattering and falling to the ground. So actually, I just saw this video of that Solar Guard produced, and they're one of our leading tint providers. And it's a side-by-side comparison of a guy shooting 2 bullets into a window. One has security film, the other one doesn't. It takes him 10 seconds to break the glass and enter the building with the window that doesn't have the security film, and a minute and a half of breaking the glass with the butt of his gun and trying to make a hole big enough to fit through with the security film. He shoots it and the glass just stays in place, and he has to literally work to basically beat the glass out of the frame in order to get in. It's really, really interesting stuff. So storefronts. I
didn't even know that was an option.
yeah, it's insane. So storefronts, that, you know, might be housing some sort of precious material inside. It's super helpful for them because they have just that extra security. It's a deterrent more than anything. You know?
Wonderful. And I know we're talking about tints, and we can obviously go on and on about this. What types of window tint does Roadrunner use, and why?
We use all sorts of window tint.
Okay.
And it's up to the customer on what they prefer. So as far as, say, a car's tint, there is what's called visible light transmission, and different tints allow a different percent of visible light transmission to go through the glass. So it's really up to the customer on how dark they want their tint to be, where they want it, and all that. Can
a customer make their window tint as dark as they wanted? Or, like, I know there's some type of law, isn't there? Like,
yeah, there are restrictions on how dark your front windows can be.
Oh, just the front? So
yeah.
The sides and the back? Or is it?
So I think
it's just the sides.
The front sides, but the back sides and back glass and stuff, that can be as dark as you want it.
Really?
Essentially,
Right.
Yeah. But I'm not exactly sure on the restrictions with that, but.
No, we're good. So, what about glass? What types of glass do you guys use as far as either an auto, like the auto? Do you guys use the remarket, original manufactured, both?
We use both. We will do original manufactured if the customer specifically asks for it. But if not, we'll do wholesale glass. We get a lot of our glass from all sorts of local providers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've learned something new today. Security glass, never knew. We're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah.
I love the extra safety feature, and especially like just making it harder for them to get in.
Yeah.
You know, when that alarm goes off, that gives them less time to actually be in the building.
And there's also kind of related to that, there's what's called graffiti film.
Graffiti?
I think, yeah, graffiti film. And this goes on the outside of glass rather than on the inside like most tint does. And it's great for buildings, say, kind of downtown or in areas that are prone to being tagged with razor blades or spray paint or something. You simply peel that outer layer of film off, and you don't need to clean or replace the glass that's underneath. So, like I said, if someone comes by and tags a window with a razor blade or something, and rather than replacing that whole pane of glass, which can be hundreds, thousands of dollars.
Depending on the glass, absolutely.
Depending on the glass, you just peel that film off and you're good as new.
Oh my goodness. See, I'm learning something new. You should always learn something new every day. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Connecting Tucson with Jaime, where we focus on connecting our community, local businesses, and organizations to help our community grow and thrive. As your local insurance professional for all of your insurance needs, I know how important it is to make new connections and lasting connections right here in our own community. You never know how our connection is going to create a spark or pull you in a unique direction. If you're a small business owner or involved in a community project and you would like to be featured on the show, please feel free to give me a call. All of my information is on the Tucson Business Channel. Just click on Connecting Tucson with Jaime. I would love, love, love to hear from you. Right now, we're talking with Danny Lochhead, the account manager for Roadrunner Auto Glass and Window Tint, the family business with his dad and a couple of co-owners. Super excited. And mom. Oh, mom's in there too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's truly a family business. We are just coming out of probably one of the unprecedented pandemics that the world has ever seen. And COVID has changed a lot about how businesses do business. What did last year look like during the pandemic, and how do you conduct business now for everybody? Can you walk me through that?
The pandemic, in the thick of it, was interesting because similar to insurance, we're an essential business. So work didn't stop for us, but one thing that the pandemic has really affected us with is the supply chain bottlenecks that it's created.
I was just about to ask you about that. How is there's a supply dilemma that's going on right now, specifically in the auto glass industry as a whole. How are you combating that?
Well, you know, it's a waiting game for some glass. It can be weeks out, months out. It's all dependent on if that glass can get to shore, and then if it gets to shore, is it able to be delivered within the United States? You know, there's the dock worker shortages, there's the truck driver shortages. So it's really all a matter of being able to get the glass available.
understandable, like the shortage is definitely out there. How long does it take for, let's just say, somebody calls and says, hey, I have a crack in my windshield. What's the process? How long does it usually take to get one replaced?
Well, it's really dependent on what glass you're asking for. As far as that supply chain dilemma goes, an Audi windshield might take longer to get here than a Toyota windshield.
True.
So it's very kind of dependent on the specific claim or the specific job.
Okay. So if they decided, if they wanted an original manufactured equipment piece of glass, and that's something that you might not carry, it might take a little longer, and you should set that expectation.
Right.
So
yeah, we don't have a stock of windshields because we don't have a brick and mortar. So
that's why I was asking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry. No. You're fine. It's like how long? I mean, do you order it usually? Does it come within a week, 2 weeks? Is it the next day? If it's in stock, readily available, you could probably have it sooner. But...
If it's in stock, wherever we might be getting it from, it's a matter of scheduling the job and meeting the client and getting it done.
Awesome. And I know a lot of my clients are really concerned about the safety of the nature. How are you making sure that we're not putting any of the clients in danger? How is business conducted when you're mobile? Wiping things down, sanitizing?
Yeah, fully mobile. And it's all outside, which people, well, generally outside. It'd be in your garage or outside of your office or in your backyard, wherever you keep the car. And that's also one thing that's nice, is it's really up to the owner of the car's discretion where they want the car to be, and we wear gloves and masks if it's asked of us.
Okay.
And sanitization and all that.
You have to make sure that happens. Yes. No. All right. There's also the other thing, and I know this is probably something, especially with COVID and the pandemic, there are a lot of glass companies, not just in Tucson, all over. How does Roadrunner compete with those larger corporate companies? And walk me through that.
So, like I mentioned, has heavily to do with establishing relationships with local agents and small businesses and individuals, and really providing a service that we can stand behind and that we're accountable for. We have a full 100% warranty on installation. So if there's ever an issue, you have one number you have to call, 520-722-5699, Roadrunner Auto Glass. You talk to one of two people in the office, and
that's always nice.
And there's no call center that you're directed to. It's directly to us, and it's rescheduled, and we do what we can to fix it.
So if something goes wrong a couple of days later, they're like, hey, they call someone here in Tucson, which is so important in my mind. Instead of trying to go through press 1 for, 2 for this, 3 for that, you get somebody.
Yes.
And obviously, if both of them are on their phone, there's a voicemail message that they could do. What if they wanted to do like email or something? Do you have an email that they can email into?
Yes. Email is available on our Roadrunner website.
Okay.
And the office is incredibly reachable. And like I said, it's a warranty that we have to stand behind. We don't have a choice. To be a small business, we're coming up on 17 years. It's the customer service aspect of it all is so important. So we make it as accessible as possible.
Nice. And let's just put that number out there again for my listeners,
520-722-5699.
Excellent. Awesome. So what makes Roadrunner Auto Glass and Window Tint unique? Why should clients come to you instead of going to the big box store?
I sound like a broken record here, but it's just the absolute accountability and customer service that we provide. I mean, we provide a necessary service that people need, and we do it well, and we stand behind that. And if it's not done to the satisfaction of the customer, then we stand behind that and we're accountable.
So the one thing I can say that I love about your business, that I love, is the fact that when I call, I talk to a person. I'm not going through an automation. I think I've had one issue where there was something wrong with a motor home installation. You guys were out there literally the next day fixing it. And that, in my mind, is the customer service that my clients expect. If something's wrong, they expect to be held accountable. I want this fixed. A lot of these larger companies, they're like, We got the next one. It's all good.
Right.
You guys don't have that mentality, and that's what makes you guys so unique. You want to establish that. So guess what? You've created that experience. So when it's like, oh, I got a crack in my windshield. Oh, you need to call Roadrunner.
Right. And we want our customers to come back. Just repeat business is that important.
Exactly.
As well as, as far as contacting the office too, it's as simple for a customer, if they go to you and you give them their policy number, they call Roadrunner and they give the office their policy number, and then immediately they're on a three-way phone call with the glass claim administrator.
Just about to ask you, I do a lot with your company. So walk me through, what if somebody has a claim? What's the process? How do you make sure that everything goes smooth, not just for the client, but the insurance company, as well as everything getting fixed? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so you have a crack in your windshield, or you have a broken windshield that you want replaced. You go to your lovely local farmer's agent, Jaime Overturf.
Love it.
And she gives you your policy number, or she gets your policy number and calls the office. You talk to the office, you give them your policy number, and then you're put on a three-way phone call with the glass claim administrator, who will then ask you questions about the claim and scheduling it, and then it's up to you and the office to schedule your job and get it done at your discretion. And yeah.
Excellent. And you work around their schedules. What hours do you usually work for scheduling?
The technicians are out there from a range of hours, 6 or 7 in the morning to in the evening. It's really, like I said, it's up to the discretion of the customer.
And that's what I wanted my listeners to know. Like, if you're at work, they'll come to you after 5 p.m., folks.
Sure.
Or come to you before 8 a.m.
Yes.
It's one of the many things that I love.
And you don't need to drive home or drive to a shop in order for it to happen. You can be sitting at your desk while someone's replacing your windshield.
That is phenomenal. So how do you attain new business and clients?
Marketing, establishing relationships, putting your name out there. We're a local company, and we support the community. We're involved with the community. We put our name on high school scoreboards because our kids go there. We sponsor golf tournaments and charities because we are involved with those charities. It's really connecting with the community and establishing those relationships that are so important for a small business. And that.
Excellent. So what are some of the charities that you partner with?
We do work, like I said, with Courtney's Courage, and my parents are individually very involved with Courtney's Courage and the Foothills Club of Tucson, where we have business connections and friends and all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the Foothills Club of Tucson. What do they do?
They're a philanthropy group that raises money for charities across Southern Arizona, mainly children's charities like the Big Brothers Big Sisters Club and stuff like that. Do golf tournaments, and we had a cornhole tournament a couple weekends ago that raised a lot of money. And
cornhole is the game where you throw bean bags, right?
Yeah, because you realize you can do so many golf tournaments, but then you realize not everyone plays golf, right? So it's
right. And I heard something called pickleball like last month. I had no idea what pickleball.
I need to learn a bit about that too. It's a little.
Well, hey, these new things. Well, yeah. I guess cornhole's been around for a while, but I've never heard of a cornhole tournament.
Yeah, it gets intense.
I am not very good. I have a cornhole game, but I never really play it, obviously. So
it's a good backyard game.
It is, actually. I remember my son graduated high school. We had the cornhole out, and everyone was around there, cheering people on.
That's necessary for every high school graduation
I know,
party.
right? And I'm not sure how my mom did this, but she tried to toss it forward, but it ended up going backwards. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I have that on video. I got to put that up on social media, maybe TikTok or something, and have some fun with it. So I know you work, you were talking about fleets, and you're trying to get more into fleets. What specifically about fleets are you looking for, or how can you help any company that has a fleet of vehicles?
Yes, we love fleets. We love servicing fleets. And so what we'll do is we'll talk with local fleet managers and try and talk with them about attaining their business, because what we provide to the fleets is service and timing. Mm-hmm. If you're a commercial vehicle and you have a crack in your windshield, you're pretty police officers and law enforcement has a sharp eye on you because you can't have that sort of vehicle damage when you're driving a commercial vehicle. So if a fleet has a vehicle out due to a broken glass, they're losing time, they're losing money. So when we have deals with fleets, we will be out there as soon as we can to help you. We're not going to schedule you for 1 week out or 2 weeks out. It's, you're our fleet. You have a vehicle that needs to be out on the road. We're going to get there as soon as possible, as soon as we can.
How many techs do you currently have on hand?
We have 3 techs.
3 techs. Excellent. And they service all of the areas that we talked about?
Yes.
Okay. And I know that this industry, I've seen a lot of changes just probably in the last 10 years being an insurance agent, the way that auto glass companies are not only doing business, but the types of services that they're providing. Where do you see this industry trending?
Like we previously talked about with the calibrations and the self-driving vehicles and the lane assist.
I'm so scared about that.
Yeah, it's really taken the industry by storm, and that is one of the biggest changes that we're seeing. So as far as Roadrunner goes, we do the dynamic calibrations, and we realize that the industry is heading towards a very calibration-dependent state. So that's why we're looking for the extra infrastructure so that we can create or make doing calibrations one of our main business models, because that's really where we see the industry going.
Right. And calibrations for, people that might not understand this, when the windshield's calibrated, it all depends on like the safety sensors and everything. So like airbags deploy, if that brake, that pre-early brake system, if that windshield is not installed properly, those systems do not work.
Right.
And that's why it's so important to make sure that the calibrations are so correct.
Yes.
And I'm ecstatic about you guys getting a brick and mortar store.
So are we.
So I that was something I saw my smile. You can't see me smile. I'll just be happy that we'd be able to do everything. What's one of the best things you like about what you're doing?
I love working for a small business. Yeah. I love, if I was working for a corporation that had 150 employees, I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now talking. It's cool being part of something to where my day-to-day job has a literal effect on business and on, our livelihood. And being, I've heard you talk about on the podcast before about how incredible Tucson is because of the connections that you make here, and people genuinely want to stay within their connections and do business. And that's one of the things that I love doing, and that's what Roadrunner does best.
Yeah, Tucson, in my opinion, what makes Tucson so unique is that they want the relationship. They don't want to call that automated 1-800 number if they don't have to. I get frustrated on a daily basis because I have to call an automated number for my insurance company. Right. But my clients don't. My clients can call me, and I can be like, all right, we're going to do this for you. Let's help out. And that's what I love about Roadrunner. You don't get that automated system. You help make those connections. So you create the experience so it has a memorable, like a favorable view in their mind.
Right.
So if anyone hasn't tried it, I highly recommend it. They are not only professional, they are great at what they do. So FYI. What is the best way for a client to reach you?
You can always call us, Roadrunner Auto Glass and Window Tint at 520-722-5699. You can go to our website, roadrunner.com.
Oh, so they can schedule service online?
Yes. So there is actually a page online that insurance agents can go to, and they have a policy number, and you fill out this document, and that gives us all the necessary information to go on with that claim. But yeah, call us at 520-722-5699, Roadrunner Auto Glass. Yeah,
we're going to get that out there quite a few
in.
times. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to make sure that our listeners know, either from, you're getting a brick and mortar store, I'm super excited, any new services that you might be offering, any events that you're going to be sponsoring that you need assistance with?
No, just, if you need your business tinted, your business buildings, your home tinted, don't forget that we do window tint as well as all auto glass. We do install windshields for motorhomes, and we're your people. You're
your local one-stop shop for window tinting and auto glass.
Yes.
So just as an FYI, people, they are phenomenal. Well, again, I thank you. I'm so happy that you were able to come on and tell us a little bit about Roadrunner auto glass and window tinting. That is all for Connecting Tucson with Jaime here at Stewart Title Studios. If you like the show, let me know. You can connect to Danny at Roadrunner Auto Glass and Window Tint at the 520-722-5699, or go to Mark Bishop Media and select Connecting Tucson with Jaime, where you can find all of their social media links, follow them, contact information, email, etc., etc. As always, do not be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and make that new connection. You never know where it's going to lead. Until next time, Tucson, this is Jaime Overturf with Farmers Insurance. Keep on making unique connections, Tucson.